Alison Petrowski, and I'm the US correspondent for Channel 9 Australia.
Why do you think is so much interest for the Australian people for a case like this?
I think because we have two good-looking young men with their whole lives ahead of them that seem to be, from all reports, wonderful people. Jake was about to start working as a doctor in Geelong Hospital. Callum seemed to be an extrovert, a larger-than-life character. They seem to be surrounded by a really much-loved family and friends. I think Australians just see them as an everyday Australian family. And I think Australians also like to go off the grid, go surfing, go off the map somewhere where you can't be found. So I think it's the combination of those two things that have really connected with Australians. I think all Australians, I feel generally as a country, we love travelling, we love going overseas and exploring places, and that perhaps sometimes we've all taken risks and done things overseas that maybe we shouldn't have, so maybe that's why it hits home. But then I also think Australians just see two good blokes whose lives were cut far too short.
Do you think Mexico has a bad reputation as a tourist destination or a good reputation for Australians?
I know that most of my friends have been to Mexico and that they come for the beaches and the sunshine and the tequila, and I know that there are certain parts of Mexico that people tend to go to for the all-inclusive resorts like Cabo and Tulum. And I know that surfers often come to the Baja Coast, like that's the calling card. But I think Australians are very aware of the dangers of venturing too far outside of these cities. We do hear headlines about people going missing in this country. We do know that Mexicans go missing. We know that more than 500 Americans, I think, are currently missing in Mexico as well. So we're aware of it. But I think obviously this case has just pushed it to the forefront. It is what everyone in Australia is talking about. It is the biggest story in Australia right now. It is all anyone can talk about. I think most people's hearts are breaking for the family, and will they think twice about coming to Mexico because of this? Yeah, I think many people will.
Do we have investment from Australia being now after the pandemic, and I know that the governor was recently talking about a relationship with companies from Australia.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, we both love food and we love alcohol, we love tequila. I definitely think there are some trade relationships there that could be in jeopardy if, all of a sudden Australians don't want to come to Mexico, if Australians generally have a bad feeling about Mexico. I have to say, being here this week, the locals have been so lovely and so welcoming, and most have felt so devastated for us that this has happened to Australians. It makes me want to come back to Mexico because I can see that Mexicans care. But I do think that this could have potential financial impacts, potential economic impacts between the relationship between our two countries, for sure.
Were you afraid to come to Tijuana? I know you're based in the US.
Yep. I was a little bit nervous, yeah. And I mean, I have a translator with me and I have a driver with me. I have not felt unsafe at any point, but I was certainly cautious coming in, and I think that I have behaved. I haven't ventured out as much as I normally would. I would normally go running. I would normally be out and about on my own, and I have definitely made sure that on this trip I have not done that because I have worries about security and about safety.
Thank you very much, and give my condolences to the families and to everybody who's hurting for this case, because we are hurting for this tragedy. We just hope that after all this tragedy, something good come out of this, and is put more pressure on the authorities to do justice for everybody.
And I think Australians would like to see that too. We don't want to hear that Mexicans are going missing. We feel for you that happens every day, and I feel angry for you that that Mexicans don't get justice when Australians might get justice quicker. That's not fair. So I hope that this might be. I think a surfer told me a term this week that the drop that spills the water. Maybe this will be the case. That is the drop that spills the water. Yeah.